Good morning and welcome to Write with Rachel. I'm Rachel and I'll be your guide today. I've been writing, teaching, journaling for many years. I am almost 60 years old and I've been a lifelong journal writer, a professional writer, a mentor, creative writing teacher. For many of those years, I created Write with Rachel as a way to express myself creatively every day and to be able to connect with other people who are interested in establishing a fun daily writing habit and who would like ideas from a real person. Let's start by exploring today's prompt. Today's prompt is our Wish Upon a Star prompt. So I have written some ideas. I encourage you today with this I wish prompt to also consider your own ideas, but if you'd like a starting place, we have those as well. Some of the I wish prompts I've written down is I wish I could write a song, I wish I could be a character in a movie, I wish I could change one thing about my job forever. Today I am going to use dominoes to choose our prompt, and whichever domino I pull first will correspond with our prompt. Let's look at the top of the domino. We have the number 5. The number 5 corresponds with I wish I could change one thing about my job forever with no repercussions. So that will be the first part of our journaling prompt. Today's sense that we'll include as part of our prompt is the sense of taste. We have tastes such as tart, chalk, vanilla, dirt, buttery, and salty. I encourage you to consider how you might describe these tastes in your work, whether that's a journal entry, maybe a list, a creative story, or the wildcard option. In just a moment, I will select a domino, and this will give us the opportunity to add the taste element. Let's see what number we get this time. And it looks like our taste element will be the number 6. The number 6 corresponds with the word salty, so we have the salty taste. Let's build out our prompt. So we have if we could change one thing about our career or our life, and we have the taste salty. Now let's brainstorm some different journaling ideas. We can take the literal direction. What is one thing you would change? Something you could change forever. And let's say you could change it without consequence. Maybe you could consider something that would be really exciting, like increasing your salary, maybe to 5 times what you currently get paid. You could journal about what you would do with the extra money. You could write about what might happen if you moved into a new tax bracket. I know many people would happily change their job to give them the opportunity to work from home forever, to have no commuting, to save the time from driving back and forth from work, to be able to have a bit more time to be able to work and also save some time by doing things like throwing in a load of laundry, perhaps, to save the wear and tear on their car, save money on gas. In addition, you could consider something like, would you like to switch to a different division? Let's pretend you're someone who's lived in California and you really love the snow. So maybe you decide that you're going to switch to your department in Colorado, because what you really love is not the beach. What you really love is skiing. So you want to move to Colorado where you can go skiing more often. Or maybe you just want to switch to a different department. Maybe you're in marketing, but you minored in accounting and you think that that's what you'd really like to do for the rest of your life. When you think about it, how does that feel to you? It can be a bit of a challenge to incorporate the word salty here, I think. So I'll give you that challenge and let me know if you can work that in. For those of you who enjoy a list making approach, let's make some ideas. You could start with the word salty, maybe. Maybe the food in the cafeteria is too salty. Well, I'm just brainstorming here. Maybe the snacks are too salty. Like maybe they have salted peanuts and salted pretzels and things like that. You could make a list of 10 different things that make people feel salty at their job with a different interpretation of the word salty. You could make a list of 10 reasons or things that people might want to change at their career, especially if there were no consequences. Maybe they would change where they sit. Maybe they would change who they reported to. Maybe they would change to a no meeting situation, or every meeting is now an email type of situation. Maybe you could make a list of 10 things people would do, but they would never actually act on the changes. Oh, and here's a fun one. You could make a list of movies or TV shows where you've seen characters actually acting in this position. They're seeking change in their jobs. Maybe it's permanent, maybe it's temporary. For some reason, I'm thinking about that movie 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton. It comes to mind. So consider making a list of those movies and what happened to those characters. Did they make a permanent change, a temporary change, and how did that work out for them? When we think about today's wildcard ideas, I definitely encourage you to really consider this option. Whatever type of wish you would like to consider, this is completely your choice. Definitely keep this option in mind. If something just came to mind immediately, that would be a great option for you. You can also come back to our original star ideas. Maybe you wish that you could write a song, be a character in a movie, be invisible for 5 minutes, say what you really want to say for a day. or hear an animal's thoughts. I think all these could be intriguing, either journaling options, list making options, or creative writing options. So again, this is your choice, and you can always combine these options. Also, pull something from a journaling idea and combine it with a list. So for those of you who would like to take this in a creative writing idea, let's start with the character. Let's say we have a person who works in a restaurant, and their job is to taste all the food to make sure it has the perfect level of salt. They need to describe exactly what it tastes like. However, they used to really think this was a perfect job because they've always been a foodie, but now they have to taste so many different things that they're to the point that another bite of food just makes them feel ill. Their wish is that they would lose the taste of saltiness forever. What would change for them? How would this change their role? How would it impact their career? What would they do next? How would they make money if they didn't have this as a job? How would they tell their boss that they no longer wanted to be in this role? I think there's a lot of different directions that you could take this prompt and really consider this idea. I was thinking about people that sometimes are just born with the natural ability to smell, for example, perfumes, and able to really understand what the notes are. Perhaps this character is like this, but they have an exceptional ability to figure out micro tastes of things like salt, which would be highly valuable in a restaurant, especially a very classy restaurant that was going for an extremely particular type of audience. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ring a bell. This will signal the beginning of the first part of our journaling writing together time. During the first portion of our writing time, I am going to be talking aloud as I write so that you can hear my process. After the first 5 minutes or so, I'm going to switch to a silent writing time with some music playing to fill the time for our friends who are listening to the podcast. At that time, you are welcome to join me. In fact, you can join me at any time that you're ready. I encourage you to join me however it's best for you. You can make handwritten notes, you can use a voice app, you can use your computer, you can sketch out ideas, you can use movement, whatever you would like. And now that we're ready, let's get started. I like to start with a character. My name is Sarah, and I almost threw up at work today. My job is to make sure that chef uses exactly the right amount of salt in every single dish. You would imagine how many dishes have salt. In fact, you can find salt in almost everything, even things you wouldn't imagine, like desserts. Salt, 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 all day long. Every day I am eating, all day long. Little bites here, little bites there. Even though chef is a great chef, chef still gets it wrong sometimes. And that means more bites for me. Chef's restaurant is only rated so highly because of our extreme attention, which includes my attention to detail, which brings us back full circle to the reason why some days I cannot stand to look at another bite of food without feeling like I'm going to get sick all over the place, which is not appropriate in this level of restaurant or really anywhere else. The other thing you should know about salt is there are many different varieties of salt. Salt does not always taste exactly the same. I don't know exactly how to describe the taste of salt, but it is salt. Salt, 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 salt. And to be honest, I am just over it. And I just can't do it anymore. I've been holding on to a wish card for a really long time, and I decided it's finally time to use it. So I went to see the magic fairy who granted me my one wish. She said it had to be something that I wanted changed about my life permanently, but it had to be somehow connected to my career. Well, that was very easy, as you might imagine. And so when she asked me to make my exact wish, as she waved her magic wand, I said, I wish that I can no longer taste salt at all. The fairy nodded and waved her magic wand. The next day, this marks the end of my first 5 minutes of writing. I'm now going to transition to 5 minutes or so of silent writing time. I am going to flip my hourglass, and I invite you, if you haven't started already, to join us.